Hey y'all, welcome back to Fitnovation with Sesi, where we talk all things faith, finance, and fitness. So today I'm going to be talking about yet another topic that's very close to my heart. I probably say that about every topic I talk about, but that's because it is close to my heart, truthfully. So something that's always been in my mind or in my heart, it's sort of been like a pushback from people, whether people around me or just even just society. But I've also noticed that I'm not alone. And that was actually confirmed by a book I recently read. It's called The 2% Way by Myron Rowley. And basically, he was an NFL player. He is a surgeon, a neurosurgeon now, but he also was a Rhodes Scholar. And if you know anything about the Rhodes Scholar, you know how prestigious it is. It is one of the longest standing scholarships in the world for the University of Oxford. But long story short, I'll talk more about the book. But if you really, really, really um, are a person who's an all rounder, if you are a man or a woman of many talents, if you have ever been told that you're doing too much or you extra, if you've ever been told that you have to choose because you can't have it all, then this book is for you because, my friend, you can have it all. And I will tell you how. So, long story short, I've always been that kid, and I might have mentioned this in my very first video, but I've always been that kid who was just always everywhere. And I actually thrive. I thrive through that. It's just whatever project God has given me, whatever I put my mind to, I'm just always like, I can do this, regardless of what other people say. But really, I think this book coming, post graduation, why it was important that I read this book is because I think I came into a place where I was starting to almost conform to the standards of the world or succumb to what people were telling me, like, you can't have it all, you have to choose. And I almost find myself in a place where I was like, maybe I do have to focus on one thing, which focus and effort, directed effort and directed passion and directed time. I'll talk about that. That can be a strength and a weakness to be stretched. So to be an all-rounder, it has its ups and downs, right? And one of those ups is that you are really are multi-talented. You really are diverse. You really can fit into a lot of spaces, a lot of rooms. You can hold a conversation because you are everywhere. You know about sports, you know about arts and culture, you know about fitness, you know about, like, you know about politics, you know about the business world. You up to date with what's happening because that's just how your mind functions. And I've always been one of those people. Like, yes, I'm not an expert in a lot of things, which, people usually say, trying to remember that term that people usually use against me a lot, like, you'll be a master of nothing. Like, the jack of all trades, but it's almost like they try to say that you end up not mastering anything. And I'm thinking, but who says I have to master anything? Because it really is about experience. Like, you can't buy experience no matter how much money you have. You can't buy an experience, right? And so for me, I've just always thought of it as like, I will be the best at whatever I put my mind to or whatever project God gives me, but at the same time, not wanting to succumb to a burnout because of it, right? So, the question then becomes, how do you maintain a healthy exploration or a healthy diversification of your portfolio, as we would say in finance or in business, of experiences while still being, good at whatever you're doing, while still coming out on top at whatever you're doing? I remember one time I was listening to the speaker, and he was speaking about the seven mountains of culture that impact culture or impact society. And he basically spoke about the mountain of family, the mountain of education, the mountain of the arts, the mountain of media and theater, the mountain of business and politics, like a lot, a lot. If you want more details on it, you can go read up on it. Just the seven mountains of that impact culture. I think it's maybe that's I'm just not phrasing it right, but that's what he was talking about. And I really remember thinking, I want it all. I can be in all of them. I can be at the top of all of them. But, you know, driving back, you got to think, okay, but God, where would you have me now? Where would you have me direct my time and my effort to right now, right? And so that's really how I would say a lot of successful people that are all rounders manage to be successful, is because they know and they understand times and seasons. And they know that, okay, this year the focus is this. Like, it's not like I want to do it all at the same time. The growth of it may be happening simultaneously, and you educating yourself about a lot of it can be happening simultaneously. Reading up on it simultaneously, but in terms of executing, it can be at different times and different seasons. And so, coming back to my last video, I talked about how I just launched my in-home personal training business, right? But at the same time, I'm working a full-time job as head of operations for one of the largest gym chains in the US. And so it's one of those things like, yes, I have this going for me, but I feel like I've heard from God, like it's time, do this as well. And on another hand, I'm in like a school program for something else, a venture accelerator for a different business, right? And I think the reason why it's important for me to talk about this and why I've decided to talk about this because I spoke to somebody recently and they were like, "How are you doing all of this? It sounds crazy. Like, how do you manage your time? How like?" And I thought I've never really thought about it. It's never been an issue for me, but I see how it sounds when somebody else is listening to it, right? And so then it starts to make you question, maybe is that why I'm not progressing as fast as I want to in each thing, is because I'm stretched in. But if I'm like, okay, what if I was to take one project out of the table or like just, put it on the side? What would that be like? And I'm thinking, but is that what I want? Right. So um, I think if you are in a position like that, that you are an all rounder, that you are passionate about a lot of things, hold on to the passion, but just be strategic about it. When I read this book, I really just, for me, the 2% way, which is this philosophy of how small improvements can get you from one place to the next, and whether or not it's happening at the same time or different times. But it just made me realize like, you really just need a strategy. You can do it all. Don't let people tell you that you cannot do it all. Don't let their almost model, don't let them try to fit you into this mold and try to fit you into this idea of what is defined as a successful person in that particular industries, because you can be in different industries. People often ask me like, Ceci, do you want to go back to your home country? I'm like, yes, I want to go back to my home country. My heart is for my home country, but I can have one foot here and one foot there and another arm there and another arm elsewhere, because I can tap into those places if I want to. So you really are limited as long as you choose to be limited. So for me, this was eye opening. And if you are in that dilemma, or if you are in that position, especially if you're a young person and you're trying to figure out like, what do I do with my artistic passions, and versus like my day-to-day job, if you, let's say you in medicine or you in public health or whatever you may be in, and don't feel like you have to choose. Don't be boxed into a corner and feel like you have to choose, because the problem is those people don't have to live your life with you. They don't live in your shoes and walk with you. So if you make a decision like that and 10, 20 years down the line you regret having had to give up something for the sake of something else, that is really a very bitter position, a bitter seat to be in. And there's nobody else that can, take the fall for you or take the blame for you for having not pursued your own path the way God has set you out. And I think for me, it always just brings me back to that scripture of the man of many talents, where one man was given one talent, and I think the other was three, and the other was five, if I remember correctly. I am just a strong believer that some people just have one talent, and that's okay. And sadly, like that man, some of them hide it and they just go to the grave with it. But some people have three, some people have five, and I would like to think that I'm one of those with the five. But however many that I have, and I think that some I'm yet to explore, I really want to use them to the fullest. And want to use them to the best of my abilities to serve my community, to serve my people, and to serve my purpose, right? So, yeah, this book is really, really, truly good. If you are stuck in a dilemma of trying to figure out your passions, and remember, I spoke about times and seasons. It's also very important. You can be as talented in many things as you want, but you got to be strategic about it. You got to be strategic, especially about the execution part of it, because yes, you can't do it all at once in terms of executing everything at once, but you can do it all within the time span of your lifespan. You just got to give it time and pray about it too. If you have a prayer life and you can go into your secret closet, ask God, like, God, what do you have me? What would you have me use this talent for, and when and how, right? So yeah, so get the book and enjoy it. Let me know how you like it in the comment section. Apart from that, y'all have a great week. Thank you.